Welcome, got my brother Philip in the studio. Good afternoon once again, Philip. Welcome down.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother. How things?
Better, boy. Just getting better with the moments, you know what I mean?
Nice.
Shining, you know, man. Looking like when GPL lights come back. How the places get real bright, you know. Yeah, be hanging in, man. I wasn't happy with life reform.
Oh, well, this week we was just in the media in respect. We had a little debate in respect to marijuana in Guyana society.
Uh-huh.
You know, the dangers, the effects, etc. We were in collaborations with the Rastafarian Council.
Uh-huh.
You know, we had a little misunderstanding, I should say, but it is okay, you know.
Misunderstanding, not in terms of the issue, not in any other way.
No, just the issue, you know,
Oh,
that
okay.
is how it is.
It
You
will
know?
always come that way with marijuana because
Definitely.
we all got our own thing of it and
Mhm.
thinking of it, and because the attention has been getting worldwide, you know, it will always be.
So we're looking at a national debate that's supposed to happen next month on the 25th.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that should be very interesting.
I like to go to that one.
Yes, so the public is invited, of course. Our venue is still to be sorted out. Maybe that'll be at the Theatre Guild or the Racket Center. We're not sure as yet. But,
Umanian is a nice place for that.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes,
real cool
we
place.
take it into consideration.
You know,
Yeah.
this is a topic I like to go back and sit back and listen to,
Yes.
to see how that would
Facts-based
go.
information.
Everybody coming with their
You
own
know?
thing. But the thing about it is that they all, I think sometimes they miss the point of addiction,
Yes,
and
definitely.
that is where the danger comes in.
You know, we're just
You know, the
looking at
real
it.
danger.
Mhm.
You know, when addiction kicks in, everything's go haywire. You know,
Definitely.
a person loses control of his life, his sense of purpose, and everything. You know, we know it. You know, addiction is a real cunning, but an enemy of life, boy.
Really, truly fatal, insidious, no known cure. That is how it is, you know.
Yeah, you know, and the good thing about it is that we have Life Reform now, who's continuing this work of working to educate people about the disease, and also work with people who's treating their disease in the form of recovery using the 12-step program.
Definitely.
And this is really, really good. A lot of people, I see, I'm part of the NE group now, and you know, sometimes I used to be in groups before, and with all the plinging and plinging and plinging, I would just know, you know, this is too much in a group,
Mhm.
and I would say, no, let me out of this, you know. But this is one group I don't want to be out of.
Yes,
You can pling me all day, and I read all the things, you know.
So what I did, I created that platform, you know,
Uh-huh.
so the guys on social media, we can be, that support group is there, you know, for all persons who are in the maintenance stage of recovery, and it's working, you know.
It's working like a
Sharing our
charm.
experiences, strength, and hope is something very interesting, you know, life situations too as well, relationships, etc.
Yep.
You know, so.
Relationships is a big one. But let me start with this because it came off of the Merriman's Mall that I hang with a lot, you know, my spot. And when the guys, we were talking to him, and the guy said, why, you know, why? And I said, why should I do that? Why I can get back out of life? I'm already here, you know.
Mm.
You know, everybody done finish with me, by let me do my own thing. And he walked away. So I thought about asking you this question so people understand. Why should a person choose recovery?
It's simple, because the other alternative is jail or death. It's very simple, you know. But then we have persons out there after a period of time, you know, they get sick and tired of being sick and tired,
Explain that.
right? Definitely. I mean, because of the manipulative behavior patterns or how society would view an individual
Uh-huh.
who's a chemical dependent individual, you know, it comes with a set of negatives. You know, an individual every single day have to wake up to recognize and understand that they don't know where the next meal is coming from, much less the next high. You know, it's not something to deal with over a period of time. It takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of effort, both psychologically too as well. You know, and once you're abusing more than one item substances, you know, you're always at a disadvantage. You see, it's only when a person hit the rehabilitation centers and after the detoxification period happens,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is when conscious thinking and all these different thoughts and emotions would come back, you know. Then is when they would recognize how unproductive they were as a member of society.
And also, you know, just in so okay, why should I do this? You know, society's already turned it back on me. Nobody might never trust me again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people will still see me as an addict.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
How do a person
Recovery.
cross that little
Uh,
barrier?
Actually, they don't in that perspective, you know, because even when if recovery is to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right, it needs to be a self-awareness. That person needs to recognize and understand that the change is needed in their life.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing it simply because family, friends, or loved ones, you know, desires it, or you know, because the wife said I need to go and get help, make her in the rehab here so today, and you know, these stuff won't work. This person needs to come to a genuine awareness that a transformation is needed in their life so that they could become responsible, productive, and reliable members. I know persons actually go to the rehabilitation centers because of this. Maybe they were dragged there by family members, right? But after the detoxification period happens, that type of awareness actually comes, yes.
And they start feeling like if they do have a purpose that they want to fulfill.
Definitely, but remember the amount of manipulative patterns that we've shown, the emotional wound persons would push in their loved ones, their friends, and their family is so deep that even if they stay clean for years, society, some aspects will still treat them, like they used only yesterday. And this is a dilemma that we're facing here right now in Guyana, in our society when it comes to chemical dependent individuals. Yeah.
Do recovering addicts manipulate their families by pretending that they want to change their lives and don't do it?
What? Manipulative behavior patterns go extremely deep, brother. We can say anything and do anything.
Pretend to be anything.
Of course, anything. Simply just to find ways and means to stay on that path of active addiction. It is crazy, That is why recovery is a consistent change in behavior patterns, along with thoughts too as well. So it's a lifelong process that deals with exactly how you treat not just yourself, but society, external situations too as well. So that is a very interesting concept. This is the depth what using mood and mind altering substances does to an individual. It mashes them up on the biopsychosocial aspect of things. It's crazy.
Yeah, the disease, boy, addiction is something else. There's none to match it, I think.
None.
It attacks you in so many ways. Thinking sometimes that, okay, your loved one, probably you're in a relationship, you had a good, beautiful wife, nice kids, you had a home, and then now you're on the street, she's gone with somebody else. The kids are already calling Uncle Daddy, and then at this point in time, I'm already 47. What's the motivation for me?
It's somewhat of a motivation. You see, being alive is a motivation. You see, there's something worse than death, Chopo, and that is being dead while still living. And this is what active addiction does, it separates you from any emotions, any love, any contact from friends and families and loved ones, etc. So the relationship aspect of it is vital. That family support is the frontliners in regards to a person going back into society. That relationship, that cohesion between families, is very, very important. Because if we're going to tackle this thing from the genesis aspect of it, let's deal with it. You ever heard a person say, I'm chasing that first high?
Yeah, man.
Right? Good. We have individuals who chase that first high for 10 to 15 years or longer.
Yeah.
Right? But the time comes.
Can I hold my hand up?
But the time comes, right? After 10 to 15 years, that individual would say, here what? I'm chasing this first high for so long, I haven't gotten it. But what have I accomplished within these 10 to 15 years? Here what happened? The wife left me. I mash up the relationships between my kids and too as well. Of course, my property get repossessed. I lose my job. Everything is sidetracked. So at that particular moment, that individual concept for using changes. Now, he or she is not using simply just to get that first high. They're using to block out all the pain and the frustration and the hurt that they've caused themselves, their loved one, friends, and family. And this is what we consider as the addictive cycle. Now, when they hit the rehabilitation centers and the detoxification period completes, when the conscious thoughts and emotions come back, it is a very dangerous stage for an individual because he or she would then realize, well, wait, now, is wifey left me or is my husband gone? Is my children am I really abandoned? And they would want to run through the gates without the tools necessary to stay clean, because it's not an easy thing to go to be a productive member of society once again. So when persons leave the rehabilitation centers, we suggest that they don't look to go into any relationship or any commitment to that sort, right? We suggest that maybe you can get a plant or a pet. This is the first step. Learn exactly how to deal with a next aspect of life. How to care for it. You see what type of connection you can have before you actually go into something that is much more complex, like a love relationship, etc. Because we got 90% of persons who are chemical dependent individuals who had relapses before 90% of them will tell you it's because of relationships, you know.
Yeah, we can talk about that when we come back. I'll feel it because it's very
Definitely.
interesting. The life of a recovering person. First of all, to choose recovery, and then to deal with certain aspects that is very, I call it ticklish,
Definitely.
and of course living life on life's terms. Right, 14 hours 44. We go play some bills. We're gonna give you the Art of War song, and then we're gonna be back with the second half of Addictions Notebook right here on the front line.
Philip, what's going on, brother? Mr. Drayton, sir, how are you? Miss Prince, what's going on?
Our beautiful land is ours to protect. Let's keep it safe together. Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
The Courts Credit Bash is happening now until July the 31st at all Courts stores countrywide. Let me give you that over. The Courts Credit Bash is happening now until July 31st at all Courts stores countrywide. Open any 18 months and over account and pay nothing until September 2019. Plus, get cash back of up to $6,000 on purchases and $30,000 and over. So shop and take advantage of these offers today. Courts, bringing value home.
Yeah, you love Philip.
Feel the thrill of the boundaries and the ecstasy of the sixes. That is a huge one. Opening on NCN. NCN, giving you the best in sport.
Hey Guyana, this is your girl Keisha, and you're locked onto the
Hey, I want to know
radio
Keisha, make
station,
Keisha vibe
Vibes
you do.
100.1
I'll tell you this now.
FM.
This is about 14 hours 45. This is the Art of War song of the day.
Here comes your Empire Media Inc.'s Art of War
Hang on.
2019 Song of the Day.
All right.
Compliments of Art of
This
War
is the song of the day, right? Suppose you know with name. Suppose you playing that anytime you the Art of War song, it should be the only thing that this song play. Yeah, so if you don't know the name of the song, you just played before but this year. But it's not very. You understand? Yes, if the understand Philip,
Yeah, definitely.
Because this was
the
only
special song.
yeah.
Yeah, this is special
But that's
song.
not the wire. No, it wasn't play just. Well, they played this with Fata.
Jamoki, what's going on, brother? Police sports tomorrow, you gotta come through. You don't know we hitting the track tomorrow.
Police sports?
Yeah.
Can't run away now, but you try up.
Yeah, Philip, you don't know that on it all the time, you know. But still, I remember easy does
They
it.
got eats, man. He eating, you know.
Yeah, I catch it.
Oh man, he eating, man.
Yeah, take care.
Like I seen all this food I walking for my wife, right? I seen all this food, this food me getting hungry, man. Then I come away from the food now. I hungry like a scum, man. No, I buy a juice. I think I'm gonna buy some vitamin. Did they live now?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Long hair crazy, man. Long hair do crazy. I don't know. I didn't follow the shred up. I don't listen to the man.
That's the best thing you
You
do.
understand? And that's why I think I err because I don't listen to the man. You know what I mean? He can't tell me or teach me anything. The fight I see he had with the party meter when he lashed it off at the big sledgehammer and holding up his hand and this is me, I could do this because it's legal. Yeah, it's all show and I was like, is this the next clown on the fucking rise? And so the man proved to be the
Hey,
next clown.
Petra, how you doing?
Oh, crazy.
You hold it up too, right? Critical response Guyana. Keep doing the work.
What's oh, I took one.
That was your Empire Media Inc.'s
Yeah,
Art
Russ.
of War
Yeah,
2019
going on, Chop.
Song of the Day. Compliments of Art of
Yeah, bro.
War 2019.
Dylan, what's going on, bro?
Art of Wars on this weekend at the Cultural Center Turmac. All the art forms, man. Once again, good afternoon to a special lady. The Minister of Communications, Miss Cathy Hughes. Good afternoon. Heard that that interview really inspiring this afternoon. I don't know those topics here though, but I respect, man. You know. 14 hours 49, still welcome. Running the front line. I got my brother Philip Drayton continuing to talk on addictions notebook. We talking why I choose recovery, and of course establish was the pain that goes all around with it, not only for the use, of course, but for the family and society as well. I think Philip made that very clear. What the areas that would get a guy going back, or even a female going back, is relationships.
Definitely.
Why is a relationship such a bump for an addict?
That's a
in
wise
recovery?
individual said, a relationship is a sinking ship. In regards to the early aspect of
If you're
recovery.
committed, it works, you know, man. I've got an exciting one to deal with.
Well, of course, persons are equipped with the appropriate coping life and refusal skills to deal with certain external situations, you know. But it is something about relationships, you know, when an individual accepts another person, you know, to be a part of themselves.
Why?
You know,
Why
for a chemical dependent individual, you know, they say the higher the expectation is the harder the fall. You know, and although a person may have the appropriate coping life and refusal skills, to apply it at that particular time when a situation arises is another issue. You know, they can have it, but if they don't apply it at that particular time, you know, relapse can be a possibility.
I have a brother over 22 years in recovery, and he's scared of relationships, man. Yeah.
Maybe
He's
that's a past
scared of
experience.
relation. I don't know why this man is scared. Why, you know? It's so tough. Why is it the emotions or that they
Remember,
can't?
most persons, well, you would know in respect to following the Narcotics Anonymous, a particular step, you know, states, you know, you gotta admit to another person the exact nature of your wrong. That person is supposed to be a sponsor. You know, if you go into a committed relationship, obviously your partner is supposed to know exactly what you went through in the past, etc. And if you're going to reveal such information to that individual, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year or two down the line, she uses that information back against you, or he does the same. You know, it's crazy, it's detrimental. You know, this thing, it's tricky, brother. That's why we say in early recovery, you get a plant or a pet and learn exactly how to cope and to deal with another form of life before we go on to something much more complex like a relationship.
Yeah,
It's
watch a plant grow. My counsel suggested back in the day, buy a cactus.
Why a cactus?
I have no idea. Something that just grows slow and take your time. You could barely see the changes. Is a cactus in it?
Yes.
These little plants with the juco.
Yes. You know, but
They have jucos.
think about it, that is actually on point, because if it grows slow, remember, recovery is a process too as well. You know, that is why they have terms like easy does it and one day at a time. You know, so it is a process, and if by chance we're going to deal with a plant such as the cactus over a period of time, you know, it actually rooted you, you know, build a proper foundation before you could move on to other complex relationships.
What should an addict look for first in a relationship before he dies? Look for in that the other person, the person he or she wants to get involved with.
The same principle that governs his life, you know, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. You know, that is where he needs to see a reflection, or she needs to see a reflection of the principles that actually saved their life. You know, you can't do recovery without following certain principles, and the Narcotics Anonymous program, it is a lifelong program too as well. You know, and some persons live that particular aspects really rigorously, brother. That is no game. You know, but it is simple principles before personalities when an individual actually sees that in another person. Why not?
Is it suggested or recommended, that addicts get involved with each other? You mean like, okay, you're a recovering addict, I'm a recovering addict, you're female, I'm male. You know,
Let's recover together.
let's recover together. You know, is that a something that we should get into?
Persons have their own thoughts about that. You know, I mean, why not? If by chance someone sees another individual and, you know, they found of them, why not? You know, but I haven't seen much relationships like that.
That
To be honest,
that
yes.
work or
No, that actually give a try to it. You know, that person's really trying. You know, two recovering chemical dependent individuals. I haven't seen that in a long time.
it's always recommended that you don't.
Yes,
You
I
know,
haven't seen that in a
they,
long
they
time.
say no, don't get involved because if the boat gets a hole, who's helping who? You know, we both can probably hold hands and jump overboard together. So that was the biggest thing of relationships and addict to addict relationship. But there are some relationships that work.
Definitely, it works, you know.
Yeah, the working together definitely works for
The
both
stronger
people.
the foundation of your recovery, you know, you can venture out in many different
Yeah,
aspects.
because I've said again, well, part of it is that an addict, and we believe that an addict can best understand and help another addict because we know what we go through and we share the same feelings, right? So why not, have a relationship with an addict and do something, what's it? But then again, they said that it don't work that way.
It doesn't work
You
that
know,
way.
it's a little tricky thing to deal with relationships. What is that big bump though? Is it we expect too much from others, or sometimes we think others expect too much from us? What is it?
You
Is it
said
a case of
it's a bit of both.
confidence?
It is a bit of both. Confidence without clarity is a disaster in any aspect of life, you know. So it is a bit of both. Maybe we expect, particular individuals supposed to treat us a particular way, simply because we get clean and sober, and we live in the life, We had the privilege for living two lifestyles in one lifetime, So honor us in a particular way. And when that doesn't work out,
When reality wraps you on the head,
you know.
Definitely,
So maybe nothing wrong with your partner if you're a chemical dependent individual. Maybe nothing is wrong with other individual. Maybe you're just not ready yet, because persons underestimate the damage mood and mind altering substances does to the human system.
Yeah, boy.
In regards to the psychological process, etc. So you to handle thoughts and emotions back again, it's not an easy 1 day or 2 day step. So maybe you still have an anger issue, right? Maybe you just put on drugs, your life became unmanageable, but it is still so. You still have to become a productive and reliable member, So maybe you're not in control yet in regards to your thoughts and emotions and how you react to certain situations, and not forgetting to as well, you too will have urges and cravings as a symptoms of substance misuse. You understand me? And urges and cravings can come with agitation and frustration, etc. And if by chance these things do come, how do you deal with it if you have a spouse there that is present and she or he doesn't understand the depths of urges and cravings and triggers, How can that cohesion work? What do you guys have in place? Have you spoken in all these different things you have to take into consideration? That so that this can work.
Yeah, you actually answered the next question I was coming up with because spirits are spirits and they connect, and whether a person is an addict or not, and a person does not know about that person's background, and they will like each other, physically, and then could probably get connected conversation wise, and then if that person finds out that that the person that they want to get involved with is a recovering addict, how should they step forward with it?
No, you see, anonymity is the spiritual foundations of all the traditions, ever reminding persons to put principles before personality. If by chance a chemical dependent individual decides to give up that anonymity for an individual where maybe he or she thinks that, this is worth it.
I'm gonna say to this person, this is what I was.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
Right? And my past, regardless if it's years ago I use, my past is just one beer away, one joint away, one pill away, one ecstasy, one molly, one whatever it is. It simply means if the spouse don't understand the depths in regards to what the individual is saying, they might have a little complications. You need to recognize and understand too that maybe a chemical dependent individual indeed put down narcotics and alcohol, etc. But that doesn't mean that the spouse does the same. Maybe he or she drinks occasionally. How do we deal with all these things within a family perspective or in a home, etc.? There's some ground rules.
Yep.
That needs to be done, right?
So the recommendation is that the person get to understand the disease and how
then
to
the disease,
deal.
the concepts of the disease.
Then the individual.
Because if not, that individual might even offer the chemical dependent. You know, here
Yeah,
we
man.
get to wine, you know, we watch a movie, we light a giant, you know, we can zone out and go to cloud nine and all these different things. And that individuals might have given in,
Mhm.
but she or he who is the spouse don't recognize what just happened, right? And the spouse becomes an enabler now.
Mhm.
You understand me? You're getting all the mood and mind altering substances because he or she don't understand that one is too many and 1,000 is never enough for a person who reached the seventh stage, which is the dependence in the progression to misuse.
Yep.
This is really, really complex and
Tell
complicated.
you, we,
This is why we need to safeguard our youths here
yeah.
because they don't understand the real dangers of addiction, you know?
But I'm happy that we are allowed to do this every Thursday, Philip, and I really honor you and thank you for coming by.
It's
And
okay.
always on time too.
Yes.
You know, bringing your messages to the people, because I know the youths are there and they want to know what's happening. Everybody the stuff will not stop being out there.
Yes.
You know, but like I always tell them, and they will tell you too. I would always say, "Yo, careful the way you're doing that." You know, I mean, don't be packing yourself up. You know what I mean? Understand what you're playing with, because we need to send that message. You know, and then prepare people for what is to come. And relationships is always a big thing for a recovering addict. He definitely needs to really take his time and let the person know that she, let's say, you probably, well, as an addict, we did some stuff, and you know, you're walking with your partner down the road, and they don't know. And the man comes to you and says, "Hey, crackhead," you know, and
Just
she's
so-
like, "What? Crack? Who? You ain't talking to me, man?" And you like, "Yes, yes," you know.
We can
What
talk
I'm
when
gonna
we
tell
reach
you,
home.
what I'm gonna tell you when I
Yeah,
reach home.
yeah, when we reach home, we don't
Because
really
people always
speak.
do that. The stigma.
Mm.
The stigma is always
It is
there.
always
you
there.
know.
You know, because persons can forget the way, you know, the
Mhm.
emotional wounds that you've
Yep.
caused them, the pain,
Yep.
the things that you've done. You know, but for a chemical dependent individual, what is of utmost importance, right, is that he or she needs to recognize, you know, they need to accept the things that they cannot change, to get the courage to change the things they can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two is what is the principles that govern a chemical dependent individual, right? So I can go there. I mean, persons might say a lot of things about me, right? But it must not move me in a particular way. You understand me? I have the right coping life and refusal skills, and I recognize that I might not be in control of external situations 100%, but how I feel from within, I'm in total control, right? So with these type of principles, you know, one day at a time. Persons who
Walk
are
out.
15 and 20 years clean did it what? One day at a
Yeah.
time, brother.
No, I think I'm gonna take it back to when I look at the first cigarette, you know, and the guys took me down to Paint and Prashad Hospital, and I'm on being born in a cigarette, and I look hard at the cigarette. Why? That was something else. That was about what, 4 weeks off, you know, and I'll buy another one there.
Right.
You know,
So
you know,
urges and cravings happens
still
from
come
within,
along, man.
but externally, you know, the triggers happens externally. So you know, these are simple tools.
Yeah,
that
also good
persons can
afternoon to the addicts in the relationship. People like Jason doing is okay.
Respect and
We're
manners.
not doing too bad. A lot of my friends are married now.
Yes.
And they get their lives back together. Some of these brothers got back their wives and kids too.
Really?
Yeah, and the families
that
are
is a plus.
supporting them through the meetings as well.
But they're extremely
You know,
lucky.
yeah, well,
Because
you
the
know.
Narcotics Anonymous program that persons follow to stay in the maintenance stage of recovery don't promise you back the wife and the relationship you had with your children or the finances you spend drugging.
Even your business. Some
Yeah,
guys got back with good business
wow.
too.
Because it don't promise you that. All it promises you is what? Freedom from active addiction, you know, and with this, anything else is a possibility.
15 hours too. That gonna bring us down to the end of Addictions Notebook for this afternoon. Philip, thanks for passing through.
Respect and manners.
Upcoming events for life reform this
We're
week.
actually with Gabriella Chapman organization, Girls Build Girls, yes, Foundation.
Girls Bill Girls. Yeah.
Right, that is on Sunday. We have the Cross at the Rocket Center. You know, of course, empowering our young ladies, you know, and give them the tools necessary so that they can stay as productive, responsible, and reliable members of society. It's going to be awesome.
All
of
right.
course, I've invited Sandra to come and, you don't know, she going to make it.
I'm gonna be there myself.
It's going to be awesome.
It's on
You guys
Sunday,
can
right?
come through. Definitely from 3 to 5 p.m.
All
It's
right.
going to be interesting, yes.
Nice, man. You should have this rolling on a ticker tape.
Yes.
Keep up the good work, Philip. We're going to see you back next week.
No problem.
Thursday for some more Addiction Notebook right here in the front line.
Barakato going on, guys.
16 Days of Life, Cricket August 3 to September 3rd.